Evan Hale walked slowly across the quiet moon surface, his boots pressing into the soft gray dust. He worked as a simple mechanic on a nearby station, repairing old machines that nobody wanted anymore. Today, he was searching for scrap parts. But as he walked past broken rocks and rusted metal pieces, something strange caught his eye. There was a shadow on the ground that did not match the shape of the rocks. It was too smooth, too straight, almost like part of a building. Evan moved closer and pushed some dust away with his foot. Under it, he saw a large piece of silver metal, shining even in the dim light. He knelt down and brushed more dust away with his hands. The metal piece continued on and on. It wasn't junk. It wasn't a ship part. It looked like armor, but not human armor. Something far older. His heart beat faster. He grabbed a small cutting tool from his belt and carefully removed a layer of rock covering the surface. More of the metal giant appeared, and then he saw it clearly. A massive arm, bigger than his entire workshop. It ended in a hand with 3 strong metal fingers. The fingers were cracked and silent, but the details were delicate and beautiful. "This isn't human," Evan whispered. "This is alien." He stepped back and stared. The giant was half buried underground. Only a part of the arm and shoulder showed. He moved around it and dug in another spot. Soon, he uncovered a large chest plate covered in glowing patterns. They were faint, almost invisible, like dying light trapped inside the metal. Evan touched it gently. The metal felt cold, but suddenly a soft pulse moved under his hand, like a slow heartbeat. He froze. "No way, you're still alive?" He waited for a moment, but nothing else happened. Maybe it was only a leftover charge. He looked closer at the patterns and noticed something else. They were cracked. Some parts were melted. The giant didn't look dead. It looked injured. Evan stood up, breathing slowly. He knew what he should do. Contact the station, report it, and wait for scientists. That was a smart thing. But he didn't move. Instead, he stared at the broken metal giant, and he felt something strange inside him. A mechanic's instinct. A feeling he had only felt with machines he cared about. He wanted to fix it. He took a flashlight from his pocket and checked the gaps between plates. The inside was dark, but full of strange wires he had never seen before. They looked soft, like glowing threads. Some were cut. Evan whispered to himself, "If I can repair a broken human engine, maybe I can repair an alien one too." He set his tools down. He knew this was risky, but he couldn't walk away. The giant had been left here for hundreds, maybe thousands, of years. No one had helped it. But now Evan was here. He used a scanner to check for power. A weak reading appeared on the screen. The giant still had energy inside. Very little, but enough to keep something alive. Evan started working. He cut away damaged rock, cleaned the metal surface, and connected his portable power unit to the wires. A small spark jumped out. He shielded his eyes and laughed softly. "You're waking up, aren't you?" Hours passed as he worked. He repaired broken connections and replaced parts with careful hands. He didn't know the alien language or design, but the machine responded to simple repairs. It was like the giant understood what he was trying to do. When he repaired a major connection in the shoulder, the ground under him vibrated. Evan jumped back as dust fell from the rocks. "What was that?" he asked. The vibration stopped. Silence returned. Evan slowly stepped closer and checked the giant's head. It was buried under stone. He used a cutting tool to break away the rock. After several minutes, he uncovered a smooth metal face with a single eye in the center. The eye was dark, almost like glass. He whispered, "Come on, just a little more." He touched the side of the head and connected a final wire. A deep sound filled the air. Not loud, not strong, but alive. The eye glowed faintly, a tiny circle of blue light forming in the center. Evan stepped back, shocked. The giant was waking up. The blue light slowly grew brighter. The ground shook again. A weak voice came from the giant's chest, broken and slow. "System dam, aged, repair-cured." Evan took a step forward. "I'm trying to repair you." The voice responded with a faint tone. "I see you." The eye turned slightly, following his movement. It wasn't strong, but was aware. Evan felt fear and excitement at the same time. He had awakened something powerful, something ancient, but it wasn't attacking him. It was watching him with a weak, almost trusting light. He whispered, "Don't worry, I'll fix you." The giant's eye glowed a little brighter in response, like it understood. And in that moment, Evan realized something. He had just repaired the first part of the greatest machine he had ever seen. And it wasn't just waking up. It was waiting for him. Evan stayed a few steps away from the giant as its single blue eye flickered weakly. The light inside it grew and dimmed like a tired heartbeat. The giant was alive, but only barely. Dust fell from its metal body every time it tried to move. Evan could feel the ground trembling under his boots. The giant tried to lift its arm, but the movement was slow and shaky. The metal joints made a deep grinding sound. Evan quickly stepped closer and placed his hand on the giant's shoulder. "Easy," he said softly. "You're still damaged. Don't force it." The glowing eye turned toward him again. It was strange to be watched by something so huge, something older than human history. The giant spoke, but its voice was broken, like a radio losing signal. "Identify yourself?" Evan swallowed. "My name is Evan Hale. I'm a mechanic. I found you buried here." There was a long pause. Then the giant repeated with clearer sound, "Me, Chan, Evan nodded. "Yes, I repair machines. You were hurt, so I tried to fix some parts." The giant's eye brightened slightly. Repair attempt detected. Evan smiled a little. "Good. You understand me." He moved closer and checked the wires he had repaired earlier. Many were still unstable. He could see sparks running along them. Suddenly the giant spoke again, this time with more strength. "Alert! Core level! Critical! Systems failing. Hostile forces may return." Evan froze. "Hostile forces? What do you mean?" The eye dimmed and brightened again, like the giant was struggling to stay awake. "This unit, designation, Volker 7, Guardian of the Eastern Line. 200 cycles ago, last battle, lost." Evan felt his stomach sink. The giant was not just a machine. It had fought in a war he knew nothing about. He whispered, "I don't understand." "What war?" The giant tried to move again, but his arm fell back with a heavy thud. Dust shot into the air. Volker 7's voice cracked. "Memory damaged. Power low. Full data locked." Evan looked around. There was no one else on this moon. No other humans. No way to get help fast. He said, "If I give you more power, will you be stable?" Affirmative, mechanic. Evan Hale. Evan rushed to his small supply cart and grabbed 2 portable power cells. They were meant for small machines, not giant alien guardians, but he had to try. He connected the cables carefully to the energy ports he found earlier. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ground shook harder than before. The giant's chest glowed with new light. The patterns on its armor brightened, spreading like water flowing across metal. Volker 7's voice came through clearer, deeper, more alive. Energy restored to minimal level. Systems stabilizing. Evan let out a breath of relief. "Good, good." The giant turned its head with a slow, heavy movement. The eye's blue glow was stronger now, almost sharp. "Mechanic Evan Hale, why did you repair this unit?" The question surprised him. "Because that's what I do. Machines shouldn't be left broken. And you seemed important." Volker 7 remained still for a moment. Then its voice softened. "Your action is unusual for your species. Data suggests humans fear unknown machines." Evan laughed nervously. "Well, maybe I'm different." Before Volker 7 could answer, a warning alarm echoed from somewhere inside its chest. The giant's eye flashed red once. "Alert. External scanners detected. Someone approaches." Evan's heart jumped. "Who? What kind of someone?" "Uncone." The giant paused. "Signal source, human ship." Evan looked up at the gray sky. He couldn't see anything yet, but he trusted the giant's sensors. "What would a human ship be doing here?" he whispered. Volker 7 replied, "This moon contains forbidden technology. Humans will seek to claim or destroy it." Evan stepped back. He had only wanted scrap parts. He never expected danger. The giant lowered its head slightly. "Mechanic Evan Hale, You must leave. This place is unsafe. Evan shook his head. No, I woke you up. I'm not running away now. Volker 7's, I brightened again. You show unusual courage. Evan smiled weakly. I'm not sure if it's courage or stupidity. Before the giant could answer, the ground shook once more. This time, it wasn't the giant. A distant engine sound echoed across the silent moon. A ship was landing. Evan felt fear rise inside him. Were they scavengers? Soldiers? Thieves? The giant's voice grew serious, stronger than before. Evan Hale, this unit cannot fight. Damage too severe. If hostiles arrive, I cannot protect you. Evan looked at the Guardian, then at the empty sky where dust was rising. He tightened his gloves and stood beside the giant. I'm not leaving you, he said. We faced this together. The giant's eye widened with a strange light, almost like surprise. Mechanic, Evan Hale, you choose to stay? Yes, Evan said. For the first time, Volker 7's voice became calm, almost warm. Then the awakening has truly begun. The ship's shadow appeared above them. The danger was coming, and neither of them backed away. Elias woke early the next morning, but Titan was already awake. The giant machine stood still outside the workshop, looking at the rising sun like he was remembering something far away. Elias stepped out with a cup of warm tea and noticed a strange glow in Titan's eyes. You okay? Elias asked. Titan turned his head slowly. I detected something. A memory. It is old, hidden deep inside my core. Elias lowered his cup. Hidden? Why wasn't it there before? Titan replied in a quiet tone. It was locked. My creators sealed it long ago. But repairing my systems yesterday made the lock weak. The memory is calling now. Elias felt a chill. Memories from an ancient alien guardian were not small things. They could be warnings, maps, or even secrets too dangerous for humans. Titan knelt down so he was closer to Elias. I need your permission to open it. Elias blinked in surprise. My permission? Why me? Because the Master Protocol chooses you as my guide, Titan said. I do not open anything important without your decision. Elias hesitated. He wanted to be careful, but he also trusted Titan. All right, he said softly. Open it. Titan's eyes dimmed as he began the process. A deep humming sound filled the air, making the sand vibrate under Elias's feet. Titan's chest opened slightly, revealing soft glowing lines that pulsed like a heartbeat. Suddenly, a wave of blue light washed over the ground. Elias stepped back, shielding his eyes. The air felt heavy, like a storm was forming. Then it happened. A small sphere of light appeared between Titan's hands. It floated, spinning slowly. Inside it, shapes moved, shadows, flashes, figures. Titan spoke in a low, almost emotional voice. This is one of my oldest memories. It belongs to my creators. The light grew clearer. Elias saw tall alien beings with long arms and bright eyes standing on a large metal platform. They were working on something, working on Titan. He saw them attach armor, adjust energy cores, and speak in a language that sounded like soft music. Titan continued. They built me to protect, to guard their worlds, to keep peace. The memories shifted. Now the aliens looked worried. Their movements were fast, their faces tense. They were sealing something inside Titan's chest, a crystal-like object that pulsed like a star. That, Titan said, is the heart module. It powers every guardian. And something was wrong with it. The memory flashed again. The sky above the aliens turned red. A massive creature, like a living shadow made of twisting black smoke, moved across the sky. The aliens panicked. Some ran, some shouted, and the Guardian army stood ready. Titan watched silently. My creators were attacked by a force from outside their galaxy. They could not stop it. The memory showed explosions, burning ships, and Guardians falling one by one. The alien creators activated a last command. They sealed Titan. They locked his memories. And they sent him drifting into space, away from the danger. The sphere dimmed slowly and faded into nothing. Titan stayed silent for a long moment before speaking. I was the last. The final guardian not destroyed. Elias felt heavy in his chest. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Titan looked at him gently. "It is not your fault. But now I understand why I slept for so long. I carried the last piece of their history. The heart module inside me is more than power. It is their final hope." Elias walked closer and placed his hand on Titan's metal surface. "So what does this mean for us now?" Titan rose to his full height. "It means something may still be out there. Something dangerous. And now that the memory is open, others might sense it." Elias swallowed. "You mean more aliens? Or that shadow thing?" "I do not know," Titan said honestly. "But the opening of a memory sends a signal. Someone, somewhere will hear it." Elias stepped back and looked around the empty desert. The world suddenly felt bigger. The sky felt deeper. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was part of something older and bigger than he ever imagined. Titan lowered his head again. "You are not alone in this. I am here, and I will protect you." Elias nodded slowly. "Then we'll face whatever comes. Together." Titan's eyes glowed stronger, like flames burning with new purpose. "Yes," he said, "together." But far above the desert, beyond the clouds, something dark and distant stirred, awake for the first time in thousands of years, and it had felt the pulse of Titan's memory. Elias did not sleep that night. The Guardian's words kept echoing in his mind. Master, chosen, he never imagined such a thing. He was only a mechanic, a simple one, but now an ancient alien machine, stronger than any human army, had chosen him for something he did not understand. The Guardian stood outside the workshop, tall and still like a metal mountain. Its glowing eyes watched everything quietly, waiting for Elias to speak or give orders. Elias felt nervous every time those eyes moved toward him. It did not feel dangerous, but it felt serious, almost heavy, like something huge was starting. In the morning, Elias walked around the Guardian, checking the joints and the cracks he had repaired earlier. The Guardian lowered its head slightly, as if trying to help him see better. Elias felt strange. Machines did not bow. Machines did not act gentle. He touched the metal chest plate. "Why me?" he whispered. The Guardian spoke in its deep, calm voice. "Because you repair me with no fear. Because your hands move with care. Because you did not run when others would have." Elias stepped back. "That means nothing. I'm not special." The Guardian shook its head slowly. "To humans, maybe not. But to me, your actions activated a very old command. A command made by my original creators." Elias swallowed. "What command?" The Guardian's chest opened slightly, showing faint blue symbols. They moved like flowing water and formed a circle of light on the ground. Elias felt the air change. The ground hummed. "This is the Master Protocol," the Guardian said. "A system that chooses a being I must protect, obey, and follow. You passed every test without knowing it." Elias felt his heart beating faster. "I didn't test anything." "You did. You tried to repair me even when it made no sense. You stayed calm around unknown technology. You spoke to me with respect. You protected me when the scavengers came. These actions are the signs my creators valued." Elias was silent. He remembered that day, how he hid behind the Guardian's broken arm and fought off the scavengers who wanted to steal the parts. He had not done it to impress anyone. He only did what felt right. The blue circle grew brighter. Elias felt warmth on his skin, like sunlight. The Guardian continued. "Now the protocol begins its final stage. You must accept or reject it. If you accept, I will follow your path, your purpose, your mission. If you reject, I will shut down and wait for another soul, even if it takes many ages." Elias looked at the glowing circle. He felt small before its strange power. The Guardian was giving him a choice, not forcing him, not commanding him. "What happens if I accept?" he asked quietly. "I will bind my core to your life sign. Your safety becomes my highest rule. I will protect you. I will obey you. And I will share all knowledge I have." Elias blinked. Knowledge? Alien knowledge? That could change worlds. But that was not what he thought about first. He thought of the lonely years working on broken machines in the middle of nowhere, He thought of wanting something meaningful to do. He thought of having a friend, yes, even a giant metal one. He stepped into the circle. The light rose around him like a soft wave. Symbols lifted from the floor and wrapped around his arms, chest, and head. He felt no pain, only a warm pressure, as if the air was hugging him. The guardian kneeled, placing one massive hand on the ground. Identity confirmed. It said, Master Protocol complete. Elias Rayner, you are now my master. The words hit him hard. He was someone's master. Someone or something powerful. But instead of fear, he felt responsibility. The light faded slowly. Elias stood in the quiet morning air. He looked up at the guardian, who now waited for his first command. He did not know what to say. He had never commanded anything before. He scratched the back of his head awkwardly. Well, I guess we should start with your name. The guardian's eyes glowed brighter, almost like excitement. My creators call me Unit N9, but I will take any name my master gives. Elias thought for a moment. Then, I'll call you Titan. The guardian bowed its head. Titan, I accept. Elias smiled for the first time since finding the broken machine. Maybe he wasn't chosen because he was special. Maybe he was chosen because he cared. And now the real journey was just beginning. Elias woke before sunrise. The world was quiet, but inside him something felt different. The Master Protocol had changed everything. Titan was no longer just a repair machine. Titan was now linked to him, watching over him, ready to follow him anywhere. Elias was still trying to understand what that meant. Titan stood outside, tall and unmoving, like a giant statue guarding a tiny workshop. When Elias stepped out, Titan's eyes lit up softly. Good morning, Elias. Titan said. Elias still wasn't used to being called Master, and he had asked Titan not to use the word unless needed. Titan accepted the request immediately. But even without the title, Elias could feel the bond between them. It felt like a warm line connecting his chest to Titan's core, invisible but strong. Elias looked around the empty desert. What now? He asked. Titan turned his head to the horizon. The world is changing. Many seek power. Some will want me. Some will want my creator's secrets. You must decide what we do next. Elias laughed a little, but it was nervous. I'm just a mechanic. I fix broken things. I don't change the world. Titan shook his head slowly. That is not true. You changed my world when you repaired me. Elias felt heat rise in his cheeks. He looked away, embarrassed. He never thought of himself as someone important. He just liked helping things, machines, tools, engines, because they made sense to him. Titan continued speaking. You humans have something my creators admired. You adapt. You try again even when everything is broken. You do not stop. Elias chuckled softly. Yeah, humans mess up a lot too. True, Titan said, but humans learn faster, and you fix things with heart. They walked together through the sand, man and machine. The morning light made Titan shine like a silver mountain. Elias kept thinking about Titan's words. HFY, humans are great. He had heard the idea before, but never believed it applied to him. He stopped and looked up at Titan. You really think a human can lead something like you? I do not think, Titan replied. I know. Elias took a long breath. Maybe Titan was right. Maybe humans were not the strongest or the fastest, but they had something else, something that machines could see clearly, willpower, hope, the ability to make choices even when afraid. Just then, dust rose on the horizon. A small group of vehicles raced toward the workshop. Elias recognized the shapes. Scavengers, maybe more dangerous this time. Titan immediately stepped in front of him. They come for me, Titan said. Elias could feel Titan preparing for battle. The machine's armor shifted, plates locking into place. A low hum grew from deep inside Titan's core. Elias felt fear, but he also felt something stronger, determination. Wait, he said. Titan paused. What is your command, Elias? Elias stepped forward and spoke clearly. No fighting unless they leave us no choice. I don't want to hurt people. I want to stop this without destroying anyone. Titan processed this for a moment. A peaceful solution. Understood. The vehicle stopped a few meters away. Armed scavengers jumped out, shouting and pointing their weapons at Titan. They demanded he hand over the alien machine. Titan stayed calm. His voice boomed across the sand. I belong to Elias. You will not harm him. The scavengers laughed and raised their weapons. Elias stepped forward, heart pounding. You want tech? Fine. But Titan is not your enemy. He's a guardian. You shoot, and you'll start a war you can't win. The scavengers hesitated. Titan stood ready, but still waited for Elias's order. Elias pointed at their vehicles. If it's tech you want, I can help fix your engines. I can upgrade your systems. I can give you something that helps your group survive. But you leave Titan alone. The scavengers looked confused. Nobody offered help before. Nobody tried to talk instead of fight. After a tense silence, their leader lowered his weapon. Fine. Fix our engines, mechanic. Then we leave. Titan watched carefully as Elias worked. It took an hour, but Elias repaired every engine and even added stabilizers made from leftover parts. When he finished, the scavengers drove away, leaving the desert quiet again. Titan looked down at Elias. You chose peace. You protected even those who threatened you. Elias wiped sweat from his forehead. Yeah, well, humans aren't perfect, but we try. Titan knelt and placed one massive hand gently on the sand. This is why my creators trusted your kind. Not because you're strong, but because you choose hope when others choose fear. Elias smiled softly. Thanks, Titan. The wind blew across the desert, carrying warmth with it. Elias felt something settle inside him. A quiet truth. Humans could be small. Humans could be weak. But humans could also decide to change everything. Titan stood tall again. Where do we go now? He asked. Elias looked at the empty horizon. A new path, a new purpose, waited somewhere out there. He lifted his chin. We go wherever someone needs fixing. You and me. Titan's eyes glowed brighter. Then I will follow. And together, a simple human mechanic and an ancient alien guardian began a journey that would shape the future. Proof that sometimes the greatest power in the universe was a human heart.